Hi everyone, my name is Benny Woolers. I'm from JFK University. I'm getting my master's in sports psychology, and your guys' coach today has asked me to come in and talk to you guys a little bit about goal setting. So, today, what we're going to do is we're first going to talk about goals, what they are, the different types of goals, the benefits of goal setting, guidelines to setting goals, SMART goals, what they are, how you do them, and the challenges of goals, because goals can be difficult sometimes. So first, what we're going to talk about is the different types of goals, and there's three different types of goals. You got outcome goals, performance goals, and process goals. So first, outcome goal. As a lot of you probably already know and probably have done, um, outcome goal is probably one of the most common goals that people set, and they focus on the result of something. So what I mean by that is, say you're a rower and you're on the rowing team, and you have a goal this year to go into the NCAA championships. Well, that's an outcome goal. My goal is to make it to the NCAA championships. That's a final result at the end of the season. Next is a performance goal, and a performance goal is improving, upon your own performance, and that's the key. It's your own performance. So, for example, let's stay with rowing. Say you want to improve your performance on the stationary rower during practice, and instead of doing 3 miles in 15 minutes, you want to do 3 miles in 14 minutes. So that would be a performance goal. And then process goal addresses the procedures, the process, what it takes to get to that outcome goal. And so, for example, what that is say during rowing, while you're trying to compete that 3 miles in 14 minutes, process goal would be to focus on keeping your shoulders back, your back nice and relaxed, your legs relaxed, your posture's relaxed. So something like that, focusing on maybe your technique or what it is you have to do to accomplish that that performance goal. So, um, outcome goals are like I said, they're highly used by a lot of athletes. But the reason why outcome goals aren't totally acknowledged, or let's just say preferred in the field of sports psychology, is because they're not 100% within the athlete's control, within your control. So, what we advocate our athletes to do a lot of the time is to use outcome goals, because it is good to have a positive outlook on an end performance. You do want to have long-term goals, right? But they're not 100% in your control because, for example, yeah, you want to win NCAA championships, but you don't know how Harvard or Princeton or Yale are going to be performing on that day, right? Their performance is out of your control. Same thing with performance goals. Can still be a little bit out of your control. Say you want to get a personal best in the mile. Well, it might be windy that day, right? It might be rainy. You might get tripped by your opponent. Your opponent might decide to be dirty that day, right? So those aren't completely in your control as well. However, process goals, I would like to say, are 100% within your control, because you can. They're focused on yourself completing something within the moment, so you can totally, control that. And what I mean by that is, in the mile, say last 200 meters, your process goal is to keep your shoulders back, to keep your arms pumping as fast as possible, to keep your head up and eyes forward. If you tell yourself to do that, that is physically possible within your range to do that, right? You have control over that. That's your decision. So those are the different types of goals. Now let's get into the benefits of goal setting. So first, you guys just took in a lot of information, right, on about the different types of goals. So as we get into the benefits of goal settings, I want you guys to take a minute to think back to the benefits you have seen in your life through goal setting. So let's close your eyes. Now let's think of a time where you have set a goal for yourself. Let's think of this goal. Was this goal positive? Was this goal negative? How did this goal make you feel? Now let's think a little bit about the end result of this goal. What happened because of this goal? Did you complete the goal? Did you not complete the goal? Again, how did this goal make you feel? Take a few seconds, gather your thoughts. Now open your eyes. Great. So now let's do a little interactive participation. Who would like to share their goal? And whether it was positive or negative, feel free to share how your goal made you feel and if it had a positive effect or not. Yeah. Oh, what's your name, by the way? Mikey. Nice to meet you, Mikey. Okay. Good. Okay. Great. So Mikey's goal helped him with his organizational skills. Mikey felt as though this skill made him feel organized, and because of that, he was a lot more determined to accomplish his goal. That's really good. Good job, Mikey. Anyone else want to share? Yeah. John? Go ahead, John. Okay. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. So John made a really good point. Sometimes goals can make you obsess, right? If you don't accomplish them, you can start to obsess. And once you start to obsess, you become frustrated. And that's a very good point, John. Can I ask you what your goal was? Great. And does anyone know what type of goal? We just went over different types of goal that John had made. Yeah. Yep, an outcome goal, perfect. And what did we say about outcome goals? Yep, they're not in 100% of your control. So, and that's a perfect example, John, because that was an outcome goal and you didn't have any process goals maybe that led up to that outcome goal. And then when you didn't achieve that outcome goal, it caused you to become frustrated and obsessed with that goal because you didn't accomplish it and you wanted to continue to accomplish that. That's great. That's a good point. And so, things like this, reflecting about your goals and kind of making a list of the goals, good or bad, that you made, it's really important because it brings awareness, right? That goal setting is important because you can find certain flaws or holes within your goals. And for example, with John, it seemed like he was just setting outcome goals. There was no process. There was no staircase to his success, to his goal. So that's great. Thanks for sharing, Mike and John. That was awesome. So now let's get into the guidelines for setting goals. And basically what that is a step-by-step process. Well, just things that you need to know when setting goals, what's important. So first, set moderately, yet semi-difficult but realistic goals. So what I mean by that is you don't want to make super unrealistic goals that you're not going to accomplish. For instance, say you're getting off of a season where you ran 15 minutes in 5K, and next season, you want to go 12 minutes and 56 seconds and get the American record or whatever. That's a very unrealistic goal. And sometimes it is good to set goals that reach for the stars, but you also have to keep yourself in check at times, right? And know what you're capable of doing through, training, evaluating your fitness and whatnot. So you really have to let, the physical aspect and the mental aspect work together in this case. You want to set long term, you want to set short term, and you want to set daily goals. And long term goals are, for instance, what John stated, an outcome goal. Usually, say at the beginning of the season, your long term goal is to win NCAA championships. And some short term goals may be the opening race in, August. I want to open up with a victory, an early victory. That can be a short term goal. And then daily goals, a goal that gets you to that process. So, on Monday, I want to focus on my technique. On Tuesday, I want to focus on my endurance. Those are little daily goals. Next, set outcome, performance, and process goals. And we talked all about that in the performance or the importance of all of those different types of goals. Set goals for practice and competition. This is very, very important. Not only do you want to have goals for competition, because that's what happened. A lot of athletes get caught up in that outcome, performing, winning versus losing. But you have to have goals for competition because that's what motivates you, um, or for practice because that's what motivates you for competition, right? Next, positive wording. You want to make sure your goals are positive wording. What I mean by that is, for example, say you're a baseball player and during your, at bat, you just feel weakened. And instead of making a goal of, I don't want to feel weak anymore, I want to feel strong. Well, let's change that to more positive wording. Let's maybe say, when I'm at bat, I want to feel powerful, very solid and strong and in control. That would be a very positive wording update goal. Come up with strategies to reach those goals. Another positive. You have to have a plan for your goals. How are you gonna accomplish these goals? And so you have to have day by day strategy. That's where the process goals come into play. You want to write down your goals. Think it, you wink it. That's exactly what you want to do. So, for example, say you have an outcome and some process goals. Well, you can put them at different parts of your room. What I used to do in college is I used to have my big long-term outcome goal right over on my ceiling. So when I wake up from bed every morning and then go to sleep, I would see it. Something else is always evaluate the process. Check up, continuously on your goals. Update everything. Go through your mental skills. Go through your physical skills. Are you there? Does the goal need to be adjusted? Whatnot. Get support. Support is very important. Surround yourself with friends and people that will support these goals. It's really tough having people in your life that tell you can't do something. For some people, it's motivating, but I've found that the more positive, happier people you surround yourself with that believe in you, the easier it is to do something, to accomplish something, and feel motivated and confident to do it. Set group and team goals, and you guys are all part of a team. And it really comes in handy not only to focus on yourself as an individual, but to also focus on the team, right? Have some team goals, What invitationals do you guys want to win? What games do you guys want to win? What's the focus as a team? It's very important, especially in team sports. Okay, so that's a little breakdown of goal-setting guidelines, and now let's move right into SMART goals. Does anyone have an idea of what a SMART goal may be? No? Yeah, some of you guys have heard of a SMART goal before. Okay. So basically, a SMART goal. I'm just going to break it down what they stand for, and then we'll go over. It's an acronym. So all the letters have different meanings. So first, the S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, the A for adjustable, the R for realistic, and the T for time-based. So let's go through these different stages, and then getting an idea. I'll give you an example of kind of what a SMART goal is and how to make one. So first, specific. They should be specific and not vague. And what I mean by that is, say your goal, you have a goal, and your goal is to just, I want to get better in basketball. Well, what does that mean? You got to be specific. What is it that, why aren't, evaluate the process first, maybe make a list. Why aren't you good in basketball? What is it that you need to do to get good in basketball? Well, I'm not good in basketball because I'm not a very good shooter. So say you make a goal, you start off with free throws, right? I want to get better. I want to improve my free throw percentage. That's being more specific rather than just saying I'm not good at basketball, right? And then measurable. When the goal is attained, how to measure the progress, okay? So you want to be able to measure your SMART goal, to measure your goal. By saying I'm not better at basketball, what does that mean? I can't really measure that. But saying that I want to improve my free throw percentage from 30% to 75% by this time, that's measurable, right? Because you can measure the process. Adjustable. This is one I really like and I take to heart because sometimes you're not going to always be able to accomplish your goal. You want to set moderate and difficult, semi-difficult goals, and sometimes you're going to come across a point where you don't meet that goal, and so you want to be able to adjust it. And for example, say your goal is to break 15 minutes in the 5K, okay, a 5K run on the track. Well, say you run, you're just not quite there, and you're having a hard time breaking 15:10, right? So let's adjust that goal a little bit. Let's make the goal 15:10. You know, you got into a wall, you evaluated your fitness, and you saw that, well, maybe sub 15 this year was a little ahead of me, right? Ahead of my game. But 15:10 is right there. I run 15:12. I can do this, you know, and going for 15:09 or 15:08, you know, breaking that 15:10. So being able to adjust your goal midway, and it's so important to me because, you know, you hit some road in the block sometimes and you just can't control it. You know, it's hard. And sometimes when you're trying to push to get to that sub 15 or get to that goal that's just a little out of reach and you don't get it in the end, it's very debilitating. But being able to adjust it and then get that new goal, that keeps your confidence going. That makes you feel really good about yourself. And then realistic, as kind of talked about before, the goals need to be realistic. Unrealistic goals will only put you in the gutter. Like I just said a couple seconds ago, not accomplishing something, you know, isn't a good feeling because you beat yourself up over it. So if the goal is too unrealistic, that may come to happen. And then timed. You want the goal to be time-based. So, for example, the free throw percentage example, I want to improve my free throw percentage from, you know, say 75% to 80% by August 30th. And that's a time-based goal because you put a time on it, right? Everything, in my opinion, has to have a time because everything has an expiration date. And I don't want that to be internalized as a negative way, but it's true, right? There comes a time where you accomplish a goal or you accomplish something and it's over and you have to go to the next step and then to the next step, right? That's just how it works. That's how it works, especially in sports. There's always more room ahead of you. There's always more to go. So let's put it all together, okay? So let's take the time. You guys have your pen and paper out. Let's try to now, by using the worksheet that was given to you guys, let's try to put together your own SMART goal, okay? Think of a goal. Let's take a few moments to just brainstorm some ideas. A current goal that you have right now, since we're meeting midway through your season. What is a current goal that you would say? And let's try to make it specific, okay? As specific as possible. And this can be an outcome. This can be a performance or a process goal. At this point, we're just trying to learn what SMART goals are. So let's take about 30 seconds or so to just jot them down. A few more seconds to finish up your thoughts. Remember, SMART goal, specific, measurable, adjustable, realistic, time-based. Alrighty. So does anybody want to share their SMART goal that they came up with? Mikey, let's go for it. Good. That is great. That is great. And that's exactly what a SMART goal is, right? It was specific, right? You wanted to improve your mile time. You put a time on it, right? It was time-based. It was adjustable. It's a time that you feel as though it's adjustable, right? Is it realistic? Okay, yeah. Your PR is 4:22, and you're on 4:16 this year. Yeah, that seems totally realistic, and you want to do it by the end of the season. That's great. That is perfectly a SMART goal. So just to leave you guys with one more example of the SMART goal. I want to increase my accuracy in throws from first base to second base by at least 75% by April 30th. There you go. Not too hard, right? It has everything. It's perfect, right? Perfect SMART goal is the key. Because when you look at something and say, oh, I just want to win a championship, well, what does that mean? How do you get there? You need to look at something every day, and it needs to remind you exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it by in order for it to really sink in. Can we agree on that? Makes sense, right? Good. Okay. So lastly here, I just want to talk a little bit about the challenges of setting goals. Because by a show of hands, who has had problems in the past setting goals? Who, in other words, who has become frustrated with setting goals? Yep. It's frustrating, right? It's a frustrating situation when you don't accomplish a goal, and there's things that come with it. So, first, number one on the list, setting too many goals at once. Don't get overwhelmed now with all these different types of goal outcome, performance, process. Sometimes what I like to encourage is to have that one big outcome goal, what it is per season that you want to accomplish, and then have maybe a few performance goals. So, say it's hard because it's say in the field of cross country, like you guys or track, you do multiple events, and you might do the mile, the 2 mile. So you're going to have different performance goals, right? So 2 or 3 is in reach because that's 4 goals right there all together, 3 or 4. And then process goals. Have a few process goals that get you to that outcome goal. Maybe whether they're daily goals or they're goals that you focus every time at the end of your last 200 meters of a race. So you don't have to get overwhelmed with these goals. You don't want to set too many, though. You want to be careful with that because then you start to lose track of them. And when you lose track of them, it becomes even more frustrating, right? Setting vague goals. No more vague goals. You guys learn how to do a SMART goal, and I hope you guys can take this with you and start developing more specific, measurable, adjustable, realistic, time-based goals because that's the key of getting away from vague goals that don't really pump you up, motivate you, rejuvenate you. Sticking with unrealistic goals. It's hard because you build high expectations for yourselves, and especially in the sport. And there's a time that you get in your head you want to accomplish, but you have to get away from unrealistic. You got to take baby steps sometimes. Be realistic. Know where your fitness level is at. Only setting outcome goals, as we discussed. It's not always good. You have to have a process. You have to have a staircase that leads you to those outcome goals. And some of you guys may not want to set goals, and I hope this session has educated you guys a little bit more about goals, and you're a little more eager to try to get after setting goals, because setting goals is really important. And for some of you guys, it's a process. They don't just happen overnight. It takes practice, like physical practice, to learn how to set effective goals and accomplish them. Not given enough time. Make sure you give yourself time on your goals, okay? Make sure you don't start a goal a week before it needs to be accomplished. Say out of nowhere you want to set an outcome goal and state championships next week. You want to win it, but it hasn't been a goal of all, at all. Maybe your fitness has gotten there, though, and maybe it's realistic. But, it's when things have to work hand in hand, right? You need to know where you're at with your physical body and your mental body, or mental self. And then also another challenge is not having a support system. Find a support system that helps you. Maybe keep your coaches up to date, your parents and your friends. Let them all know your goals, and let them know. Keep me accountable for these goals. Get me excited about them. It doesn't hurt to let them know their goal as well. It can be really beneficial and effective. Well, that's just a little, short presentation on goals and goal setting. I hope you guys all, took some valuable, positive information from our session, and I'm really excited to continue to work with you guys in the future. And good luck this early beginning season. And if you have any questions, my card, is on the table, and you guys can contact me. Any questions about goal setting or whatever it is. All right. So everyone, enjoy their afternoon. Thank you for having me.